really went down that rabbit hole.
I felt connected to this character, having lived some of the same experiences.
It must be hard, I think, to feel like Bono, but not to quite be Bono.
We would practice harmonies, basically singing along to the Bee Gees.
It reminds me of when I bought that album when I was a little kid, and I loved that song. The first thing that comes to mind is we went pretty deep into like a whole Tom Waits, Nick Cave thing. You know, I'm a huge fan of both. John was talking about Nick Cave in a way, like, we went pretty deep on that. We started going really deep on Tom Waits, really went down that rabbit hole. And then also just a lot of Irish music. And I think we were maybe, I want to say maybe got into a conversation about Horselips or some traditional, like the Furies, some traditional Irish stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about differently, but you know, drawing from some of those experiences was a big thing for me in this. And the minute I read the script, you know, I felt connected to this character, having lived some of the same experiences. And you know, I think that the thing that this movie does is it asks a lot of questions, not just about fame and success and songwriting, but about, you know, ambition and the balance of family and all these other things. And at this stage in my life, you know, 20 plus years into my career, that balance and the understanding of the family and being present is the thing I'm most focused on. And I don't think you need to be a person in entertainment to resonate with those themes and bigger ideas. Oh, so many.
Yeah, I mean.
How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees? I remember being in the Ford Windstar minivan with my dad. He had a CD booklet case and he'd pop in the Bee Gees, the Beatles, Shania Twain, Whitney Houston, all the greats. But that song in particular, we would practice harmonies, basically singing along to the Bee Gees.
Yeah, boy, there's just, I mean, that's such a huge question. When I was a kid, I really liked Glenn Campbell, and whenever I hear this song, Country Boy, You Got Your Feet in L.A., it reminds me of when I bought that album when I was a little kid, and I loved that song. And I went for many years without hearing it, and then I heard it again, and it was one of those great moments. This was many years ago, but those great moments of a rediscovery. It was almost like a buried memory. Like, oh my God, I loved this song as a kid, and you know, I still love it now. But whenever I hear it, it just takes me back to being, you know, 10 and hearing that for the first time.
Well, I think that it was more interesting to me, the guy who wants to be on that stage and isn't, and still kind of clings to it, than the guy who made it onto that stage. That always strikes me as a sort of a more interesting opening for a story. And you know, he's a character who still believes that he can do that, and it must be hard, I think, to be, you know, to feel like Bono, but not to quite be Bono. You know, like I don't struggle with that in life. But it must be a real struggle to know if I'm led up there, I'll do really well, and I know I have what it takes. I have these songs or whatever. That's a very funny and interesting and tragic and moving place to be. So I love the star isn't born stories. That's exactly right. Like two things, like he sees himself in Danny and he sees his own, you know, disappointment and he has something to compare himself to now. But yeah, there is a kind of a father and son thing where he wants the kid to do the right thing. And he also has this weird thing of like, I was where you were almost. I mean, not quite, but and here's what I've learned, and here's why I didn't make it, and here's, you know, all of this. This kind of father and son thing, I think, going on between Paul and Nick in the movie. Yeah, I do. I do think, and I think we're kind of encouraged in this world to commercialize our work and to be remunerated and credited, which, you know, I don't have any judgment on that. But it is important to not lose sight of the original reason why any of us picked up a pencil or a pen or a brush or a guitar. The original place that we did it is probably in our bedrooms on our own because we loved it and it was free and it came through us, and we were a lightning rod for it. We weren't the creators. And then we're kind of taught in this society to really believe in yourself as the author. And that makes sense because it's got to pay the rent. But we should also be able to remind ourselves that the story of what we create goes way beyond us and our stories. And ultimately, all work, again, becomes free down the line. And that's an important thing, just to keep an eye on that as an artist each day, I think. And that's where the Rick character kind of goes in this story, isn't it?